right. That's right.
Gonna come.
Okay.
All right, our chairperson isn't here right now, so we're just gonna give it a minute. He said he was gonna be here, so we're just gonna give it a minute. So if you don't mind, we'll be with everyone in just a few minutes. And then if it comes down to it, Keely, maybe we do like the first one, and when he gets here, we could always switch it over too. So if you want, I could maybe go through a couple of the first items if you want, and then I'll just turn it over like here.
I know these people.
Okay. It looks like we got enough. You could always abstain, but you could just do the chairperson.
Yeah.
You know, if it comes down to it. So let's just give it a minute.
Is Kim gonna be here?
No.
No one seems to be responding.
Yeah. So, the one thing, maybe one of the things I'll do before we get started here is we do have a new member, and you're gonna have to help me out, Thaddeus, to make sure I'm saying this correct, Thaddeus Chapkus. So Thaddeus is gonna be a new member on the Board of Appeals, so we appreciate you participating, and like we said, if you wanna talk to our, like Jeff and I, we can help you out with some of the, process and procedure stuff, so we appreciate you being willing to join our group, so thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
And maybe, I don't know if we wanna go through the others, maybe we could start on that side and just introduce ourselves so he has an idea who's who from here.
So I'm Jeff Lutzke, I'm the North Side Building Inspector. So I work with Board of Appeals on various requests.
I'm Janet Dillman, I'm the Community Development Planner. I'll be helping out once Steve leaves us, so.
I'm Elise Rose, also in Planning and Development, and we'll be helping out when Steve leaves.
Keely Johnson.
Ed Surratt, retired HR director for the city and Alderman at one time. So.
And Richard Lindy on the end. So there we go. All right, so maybe what I'll do is why don't I go through some of the, or if you want to just go ahead, we can do the beginning part. Yeah, call the meeting order, and then when Kevin comes, we could always go from there.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'd like to call the meeting to order. And we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Steve.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So does anybody currently have any potential conflicts of interest with any of the issues coming up? So I know the people for the first variance, so I would just abstain from voting.
Yep. Yeah, you can still do the meeting, but you could abstain at that point.
I guess I'm looking for an approval or a motion for the Board of Appeals minutes from March 15th, which was our last meeting.
I move to approve.
I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Got a first and second for approval. So we will go to, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect. So we'll go to the first variance request from Donald and Virginia Johnson. If you'd like to step up to the podium and explain what you're looking to do. This one right here in the center.
If you want to
I'm
come
sorry,
to
if
this
you
wouldn't
one
mind
here.
the one in the center, thank you.
Thank you for having us. We just recently moved into that neighborhood with the intention of living on one level and trying to get to the point of aging in place. So we are requesting to widen the single-car garage so that there would be space for 2 cars. A lot of it's safety-related. Currently, with having to park across the street sometimes in the winter, I think there's a safety issue as far as leaving the house and falling, slipping and falling. Safety issue as far as the vehicle itself, any kind of vandalism. Safety issue as far as when I get home later at night after work, leaving the vehicle and entering. So it's a lot of safety issues, as well as, of course, the convenience of not needing to battle opposite sides of the street parking in the wintertime. And also, instead of needing like another storage shed or something on the property, that we would have a little extra storage. Those are the main things.
Does anybody have any questions, or is there anybody that objects to this being added?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any neighbors.
Neighbors
for
or
this one,
anything?
And then I can give some, if you want some feedback to it.
Any neighbors come to talk on your behalf or say?
No, I don't think so. And
Okay.
you can see we are on the alley, and it's a double-wide lot, so we really don't have anybody right next to us.
Sure.
That would be affected
So
by
they're
it.
going all the way to here.
Right, right. So a couple of things, and I'll just kind of show both these things here. You can kind of see what the reason for the variance is that the home itself is closer to the typical streets. The typical street setback is 25 feet to Humboldt Avenue, and presently the building is 11 and a half feet. So they're going to remain, this is the garage addition, so you can see the 12 by 24, and it's going to be, related to, just built on the other side of, just expanding onto the existing section of the garage. So basically, in this area, so they got a single car, they're looking at a 2-car. They're meeting the 25-foot setback from that garage to the alley, as well to the, and 8 and 22 feet to the rear yard. So it's a 20-foot setback to the rear yard. So really what it comes down to is the home itself is existing, and the only reason why they're coming in is just because that's currently 11 feet to the property line. I believe the applicants have talked about that their intent is to match the existing home in terms of design, roof peaks, colors, things of that nature. So there is some, the road isn't very wide. And so you can see that they're looking to add this, and staff was not objecting to the variance as requested.
Any other questions?
I move the variance be allowed.
Second?
I'll second.
We have a first and second. Everybody vote. Say aye if you agree. Say nay. And I'll abstain.
So the motion passed. So you'll be
So you're good
working
to go.
with the inspectors on your building permits,
Thank you.
okay? Oops, I'm sorry. Thank you.
So now we'll call for the property at 1026 Logan Avenue. Ken? What are you looking to do today?
I'm looking for a variance for length on my garage
Okay,
that I'm wanting to put in at 1026 Logan Avenue.
and you'll want to expand on what it is you're here for and the variances and what you're after and design and all the information that you've provided to indicate to the board why it is you're asking for the variances.
I'm trying to go with a little bit longer garage because my standard vehicle right now is a 4-door long bed and it's 23 foot long. So at 24 feet, my truck pretty much fits wall to wall. I do miscellaneous projects around the neighborhood, helping my neighbors out and trying to get all of my lawnmowers, my snow blowers and everything inside the garage. I'm trying to go with a metal building so that I get more height clearance inside. I want to be able to put a lift in there so I can restore my old pickup that I have. I'm getting old enough that I really don't want to have to crawl up and down off the ground anymore, so I'd like to put a lift in there to be able to work on my old truck and just tinker around out in the garage and have room to be able to do stuff and keep stuff picked up out of the yard and out of the alley. The structure I'm looking at is a Viking building, be metal framework with tin on the sides. It'll have a black roof, forest green sides, have black trim around the front door, around the corners of the building. It'll all be trimmed out in black.
All right.
Okay. Any neighbors here?
Yeah, and if you want, I
For
can
the
make a
setup.
couple of comments if you'd like to, and then I believe there are some neighbors here.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind.
What's
Or if
the
you
height
want-
on that?
Well, that's a good question for the applicant. I know that they say something to the effect that it's 17 feet, but I know that staff had some questions in terms of the specifics from grade to peak, because when I take a look at this, it appears that it might be higher than that.
No.
So,
No, it won't, but at, the side walls of the building should be around 12'6". The peak should be right at about 15 feet.
so I would just, one of the things, I don't know, obviously the building inspector has had some conversations with the applicant, but it is, definitely a concern that we've had because, again, when we take a look at it, it says something to the effect of leg height is 16 feet. Dick, I don't know with some of these grades and things like that, so I don't know. I guess this is the only plan we have, detailing what we're after. A couple of questions came up with the variance itself. Typically, the maximum size garage is 1,000 square feet. It can't be any larger than the footprint of the home, and the footprint of the home, I believe, is 864 square feet. So that's one of the things they're asking for, and then the height is the other. I think the other things that the board should be aware of is oftentimes when we're looking at variances, we're trying to fit materials and grades and designs and things like that when a person's coming in for a variance that better fit with the rest of the neighborhood. I think there's a bunch of single car and 2-car garages with graded peaks and things like this. So this metal building, is basically like a pole building compared to all the other garages that we're looking for. So from a material standpoint, this is certainly something that is not consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. So staff certainly has concerns with the project and it would be recommending denial of the request, but the applicant can certainly speak to it some more, and I believe there may be some neighbors on this item here as well.
What is the hardship, sir?
I'm just looking to build a garage that I can work out of and do fiddling stuff out in my garage. Right now,
But that's not really a hardship.
I know it's not a hardship, but
Yeah.
I don't like my stuff scattered across the backyard. I see so many neighbors around my neighborhood that have their lawnmowers or snow blowers, their wood piles, their everything else sitting out in their backyards. I don't want that debris piled around my place. I want to keep it neat and clean, keep everything inside the building. And that's why I'm asking for a variance on this, so I can build a big enough garage that I can put everything in and still be able to do the projects I wanted to do in my garage. And I don't want basically vandalism for coming down through the alley because there's something laying out in the yard or somebody's trying to steal something.
And currently, do you have a one-car garage, two-car?
Currently, I have a one-car garage.
Okay. So even if he expanded it to a three-car, instead of doing a pole type building,
Right,
that would be a little more.
right.
I just don't want it to look bigger than the house. Do you know what I'm? Yeah.
Right, I mean, the one thing is, again, from, what we've been trying to do with variances in the past, you can see the design that we're talking about, no question, pole building. When you take a look, kind of at the design of the home itself, it's a very attractive home. And with, some gables and different things like that. And so I know you're trying to match up some of the hunter green colors, which is a little bit different, but material and things like that, it's gonna, it's a drastically different look than what's there. So.
Well, there's several houses in the neighborhood that have metal roofs on them at this time.
Sure.
So I didn't think it was too far of a stretch to ask.
My concern is.
That's why I'm here today asking permission to try to build this.
Right.
Why 16 feet? Oh, because he wants a lift in it.
I want to try to restore my old truck. I'm trying to get it home where I can work on it and bring it back to,
Oops, I'm sorry.
bring it back to new again.
Well, and then the footprint of the house is 800 and some square feet. And this is 1,008.
Yeah.
So it's 200 square feet bigger than the actual house. Oh, here's some back pictures, okay. So how much yard would you have left if you would build this? Like, would you have much of a yard, or it's just
I
pretty
should
much gonna
have,
take up the back?
On the side of the garage, I'll have 17 feet on be the north side of the garage, I think it is. And in between the house and the garage, I'll have, like 50 feet?
So what he is showing is,
That's me.
you're showing 3 feet to the east property line,
Yes,
and how far to the west?
be 17 feet.
17 feet. So it's a fairly deep lot.
Yeah,
Thin, but deep.
but this is where the yard is now.
Right.
Now you literally cut that in half. Where I'd rather see it more at the back, where it would cover the whole back
Sure.
of the property than this way.
Sure.
I guess we could have any neighbor step forward if there's any neighbors. Okay. Whoever'd like to go first.
I live right across the street from him. He's been very helpful to all of us, whether it's snow blowing or helping us with the cars. And the building that he has doesn't lend itself to really help anybody of us. So that's the reason that he's asking for that. And, we're trying to keep the alley clean, like he said.
Sure.
And as you can see for the pictures, there's some debris there. We have had some vandalism on the past there for the same reason. It's just, it looks old. We had stuff outside that has been taken out. My plates were stolen themselves from one of my vehicles out in the alley. So we're trying to make it look a little cleaner, a little nicer, newer, keep the young kids out or whoever's doing what they're doing out there.
And what was your name and address, sir?
Miguel Galvez, 1015 Bell.
Square feet, 1,000 square feet is a lot. You can put 6 cars in.
Right, I mean, right now, the maximum permitted is, in this particular instance is, I can't remember, Jeff, do you know what?
864.
864 is allowed in this particular instance because it can't be any bigger than the
house.
house footprint.
Okay.
And the house footprint is that, so technically, the maximum size garage in this, which is, 860 square feet is still a large,
Garage.
4-car garage.
Okay. And the height of this metal building?
He said 15. On the
15.
plans shows 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, obviously, when we're talking, that would be one of the things that we would definitely want to be able to, if the board was thinking about approving, not saying that right or wrong, but we'd want to condition, obviously, the height and that type of discussion as well.
Okay. So we treat this 1,000 square feet for the city code is the same thing for metal as it is for wood?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All
Doesn't,
right.
the material
Okay.
doesn't matter.
That's most of my answers, questions that I have for.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Whoever's next.
Hi.
State your name and your address that you live at.
The what, hon?
State your name and your address that you live at.
Margaret Weber at 1028. I know, I'm so nervous. I live right next door.
Okay.
1028 Logan Avenue.
Okay.
All right. And the garage that he wants built, I don't really know when y'all are talking about feet, and I don't understand that.
Sure.
But I can tell you that what I've seen, it will do nothing but help our properties to also increase in value too. And I live right next door.
Sure.
So,
I mean, do you understand what it's gonna look like, though?
yeah.
Where it's gonna almost be equivalent to the size of his house.
Right. And
Okay,
that's fine with me. It doesn't matter.
okay.
I'd like to build one like that too.
And that's
And
why
that's
we
something
need to
the
make
board
sure
should- right.
I would
that
love to.
that not everybody in the neighborhood's building the same type of garage, and now all of a
Well,
sudden,
yeah,
we
but-
have houses and garages, and the garages are bigger than the houses.
Yeah, but you have to understand that also some of them were rental homes.
Sure,
And so, and
Sure.
the people that they're not going to build a garage like that for renters.
sure.
And so now we're getting, our neighborhood is so safe and so nice. And it's starting to get better because it's owners, people are buying homes. So anything to make the neighborhood look better.
Sure.
I know that there's little garages and big garages. I'd like to have a bigger garage like he does.
Sure.
But that's all I have to say. I live right
Yeah.
next door and I'd be happy if you would say, okay.
Sure, I appreciate that. Whoever's next.
Hi, my name's Elvira Lichtai. So I originally bought this property in 2003, long before I met Ken, and then met and married him. So this property was supposed to be for a single female retiring, and then I met the love of my life, and now things have changed dramatically. The bottom line is this. We want to retire here. We not only bought 1026 Logan, but we bought the house next door too. We like Sheboygan. Ken wants to restore a 1977 Chevy that he had when he was 17 years of age. In the proposed 36-foot garage, he can't do that. We can't, it's not long enough to even get around the truck to even do the work that he wants onto it. We're here to ask for more of feet in a variance as far as length, as well as height to put a lift in, because we're just getting older. We're hoping that you consider this. We want to stay in Sheboygan. We want this to be our house and where we're going to retire. But if not, we have no other choice to sell. I mean, our dreams, we have dreams now, and we need to dig this to reality. And I understand that you don't want these big clunky garages, but if you've really taken a look at Viking, one, Viking's made in the United States of America, so it was important to us as union people that we bought union steel. Two, it's a steel structure. Miguel's garage just caught on fire not too long ago. If this should ever catch on fire, it's contained. It's not going to spread through the whole entire neighborhood. Will it be as big as the house? Yes, but it will be a beautiful hunter green siding with a dark black roof, and it'll be very nicely done. Anybody who knows us at all knows that we take very good pride in what we do in our patios and things. So it will be done tastefully. So with that, we just ask for your blessing that we can do what we'd like to as we retire.
I
There's
understand your concern. And again, what is the hardship? So when you filled out your application, there were questions that you had to answer in
Sure.
that request. And the hardship is the number one question that you had to answer.
Sure. So-
And that's what makes it difficult for us to say yes when there's no true hardship.
It's not a hardship for you, it's a hardship for us to do what we want to do.
Right.
This is the life that we have chosen. It is a dream that we have chosen, and we want to restore cars, and we want to stay in the neighborhood and pay our $10,000 property tax that we do and live here and contribute.
Sure.
So the hardship is exactly that, is to make it what we want to within the realms. When our garage was built, it's an 8-foot garage. None of us own a car that fits in the garage that we have now.
Sure.
It simply wasn't made to do that. So the hardship is that things are changing, times are changing, people are changing, ethnicities are changing. And as we build things and do things, it's going to change. And if it doesn't change, people are going to move in order to do what they need to do. This was 2 houses down from us. I was supposed to present this to you. They couldn't be here, but it was a letter that was addressed to you all as a council.
Do you want to read it, actually?
Sure. It says, "To whom it may concern, my husband and I have lived at 1014 and 1016 Logan Avenue for 5 years now. We have known Alan Ken, the residents at 1026 Logan, that long as well. They have been nothing but welcoming, friendly, and helpful. We received a letter from the city of Sheboygan in regards to Alan Ken building a large-sized garage. We have no issues with this desires of theirs. They are very deserving of this garage, and they have stepped up to help our neighborhood with snow removal or alleyways, shoveling sidewalks, cutting grass, leveling sidewalks, and you name it. Ken has probably done it and doesn't ask for anything in return. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. We wish we could have been there for this hearing to support Ken and Al."
Thank you.
So every single person that surrounds us is here. If anybody has problems with us, ask them. They're here. Thank you.
Comments if you want.
Go
So
ahead, Sue.
I guess the big thing here is, really what we're talking about from a design, a scale, and things like that. It doesn't sound to me as though the individual neighbors have any issues, or the people, it sounds like obviously are very good people. Really what it comes down to is the discussion that we always have. Is there a hardship? Can they build a garage that's 15 feet tall, that's larger, that can be done, that more appropriately fits the rest of the neighborhood and has a better design that fits in well with the home itself? And so the answer to that is yes. I don't think there is a hardship that there is there, other than this is because this is what we want to do, compared to what they're, allowed to do. The other question I might have, you said you want to do cars. What does cars mean, and what are we doing? You talk about your personal, but there's not an ability to operate a business
No,
to
I'm not planning
do
on operating a
other
business.
cars. So that was kind of mentioned. So what's the thought process from that perspective?
I've got, like I said, my car, my truck, I got a 77 Chevrolet truck.
Right.
I've owned that truck since 79. It is sitting in a storage unit right now. I can barely get in there to work on the truck and then do things to the truck. I would like to try to get the truck home so I can start doing restoration on the truck. If I have a standard-sized garage, by the time I put it inside of a standard-sized garage, I try to take the bed off of it to work on the frame, then the bed won't fit inside the garage. I don't want to be putting the bed out in the yard for all my neighbors to be around, or someone to do vandalism. Trying to find restoration parts for some of these vehicles is very difficult, as my neighbor can attest to with his restoration of an old Cadillac. Trying to find parts and trying to keep your parts safe and secure is the main thing I'm looking at on this garage. I'm trying to have room to work on my truck, keep the storage parts that I need to do the restoration of this truck and have room to move around the truck, so I'm not having to basically do a shuffle every time I want to work on this thing.
Sounds good.
That's why I'm asking for a variance of my garage, so I have room to do what I want to do, keep the things clean, neat, and organized in the alley, so I don't become a Sanford and Son in the alley.
Because how much is an average three-car garage?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
How much square footage?
Marcus had a question.
Yeah, Marcus has a, yep. Press the red button. Yeah, there you go.
Madam Chair, first off, I'd like to apologize for my tardiness. I had to pick up my son here. We won't get into that, but I may have missed a portion of this. What in particular is the issue with how this building is constructed versus what is allowed? So I have a clear understanding, please.
Yeah. So basically what we're taking a look at, what the variance is that the house itself is, what is it, Jeff, 864? 860 square feet is the main footprint. And so you're typically allowed up to 1,000 square foot to build a garage, but no bigger than the footprint of your home. So in this case, he's allowed 864 square feet and could get a building permit to do that. He wants to build it, I think it's 1,008.
1,008, which is a 24 by 42 foot
Right.
garage.
And then the other items is the maximum height typically for a garage is 15 feet. And there's some discussion in terms of, we've heard 16, we've heard 17, but the height of the garage is also an issue. So those are the two variances in this request.
May I ask a few follow-ups?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Sir, will your lift fit if the roof height is 15 feet?
I can make it at 15 feet, but my vehicle will be sitting right up on the ceiling. But yes, I can make it with 15 feet.
Follow-up for staff, if he did a flat roof structure, would that be allowed in this particular case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A flat roof would be acceptable, correct?
I think we still need to match what's in the neighborhood.
The only thing that we would be looking at is oftentimes, could you build a flat roof garage? Yes. Oftentimes when we're looking at variances and things like that, we've tried to kind of match the character of the home, in essence, from a design perspective. But could it? Yes.
So would it be better for the roof to be flat and not match the design characteristics of the neighborhood, or for it to be taller?
Sure.
Which would staff prefer if they had to choose?
I don't know if anyone else wants to chime in there. I guess, we're trying to make it work, yet at the same time, they're not proving any type of hardship.
I'm just trying to understand, since this is my first meeting, I apologize.
Right. So the fact of the matter is, it has a little bit of a peak, but it's not a gable that really fits regardless. I mean, when you take a look at the design of the home, it's very peaked, gabled, you can see. And then when you take a look at the proposed building, it has a peak, but it's fairly flat already.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, very tall, it's very large. And so, so that's the concern, is just kind of how it fits in. And when you take a look at the rest of the neighborhood, you can see that it's all 1-2-car garages. Not to say that they couldn't be built, but things that relate to the home structures that are in the area. So that's oftentimes when we're taking a look at variances, we do take a look at the design to make sure it fits in.
Can I have the dimensions of the proposed structure one more time?
24 by 42.
Okay, so it would be within code essentially if it was 24 by 32, so 10 feet shorter?
I think that, I don't have a calculator, but I'm assuming that
should be.
It would be under that 860, I think.
Would that be something that would fit your needs, sir?
Basically, no.
No, okay.
It'd be better than what I have. I
It'd have to
agree
be
with that.
24 by 28.
But
to be 672.
By the time you put a vehicle in there and you try to keep your toolboxes in there and you get your snow blowers in there and your lawnmowers in there and you're trying to keep things in off the street, then the 36 feet, everything, one of my neighbors got 24 by 24 and can't even park in his garage. So is 24 by 24 big enough? I understand what you guys are concerned about, but I also know that when you start crowding things in, then you have potential of having accidents inside there. I want to have room to maneuver and move things around and do it safely. And like I said, I just want to keep the neighborhood clean and organized. That's why I'm wanting the variance. To the board, as far as a hardship, it's, I know it's nothing to them, but it's a hardship to me because I need room to work on this vehicle. I haven't been able to bring the truck home so I can work on it because I don't have room to work on it.
Thank you, sir. I have two more questions, and I promise I'll be done. What is the current zoning of this neighborhood, and what is the minimum structure size that can be built on it?
So the existing neighborhood is zoned what's referred to as neighborhood residential, and in that neighborhood.
Is it NR6?
NR6,
Okay.
right? And in that neighborhood, the lot coverage is, I believe, 40% of that lot.
Do we have a minimum structure size?
In terms of homes or what?
Yeah, so if I had an NR6 lot and I wanted to build on it, what was the minimum footprint that I could do?
960 square feet.
960 square feet.
24 by 40 is a typical house, minimum house plan.
And so he's being penalized for having a smaller house than that?
He has a thinner lot as well.
Okay.
And so from that perspective, it's not as though he's being penalized. That's the house that was constructed on the lot.
Gotcha.
So if it was being built today on a typical lot, you would have to meet that requirement.
I really appreciate you indulging all my questions here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other neighbors or questions?
Any motions?
Any motions?
I would move to approve.
Second.
Could I comment real quick on that? If we do that, I don't know, sir, what your building height is. It says 16 feet, so I guess that's what we're approving, is 16 feet. And if it comes in more than that, he's not meeting that requirement, and he would have to come back in. So that's very important that you know that hopefully that height is correct.
An amended motion to include that.
I can make sure that it's 16 feet if will satisfy that question for you.
Sure. Okay, so that was with that condition.
Looking for a second?
You have it.
Oh, Marcus did second. So we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nay.
4-1,
Pass.
passed, got approved.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
So you'll meet with the building inspector, and then
Yep.
he'll take care of everything
Okay,
that you'd need to do.
okay, thank you.
All right.
So the next one is for the property located at 1410 North 28th Street. Alan? Not here?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Not here?
Is there someone here for 1410 North 28th Street? I guess if you wanted, what we could do is table it until the next meeting.
Well, we'd have to if he's not here.
Right.
Right?
Right. So you might want to make a motion to table. Going once, going twice? No?
Nope.
Okay.
So I need a motion to table that for next month.
So move.
Marcus is a first,
I'll second.
Ed's second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. So our next meeting looks like it's June 21st. And I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second,
All right.
and we're done.
All right. Hey, everyone, just, so